When we look at Mars, we see a barren, cold, and lifeless planet. But what if I told you that once rivers flowed there, waterfalls roared, oceans splashed, and clouds rose above the horizon at sunset? What if Mars was more like Earth than we ever imagined? Today, we're going on a journey into the ancient past of the Red Planet. We'll explore its long-lost geography, and you'll see Mars as it looked billions of years ago. It might even have been a place where life once began. You might ask, how can we possibly know what Mars used to be like if no one has ever been there in person? The answer is simple and incredible: through orbiters, rovers, and the science of geology. Orbital satellites photograph the surface from above. Rovers, like Curiosity and Perseverance, study rocks up close, and scientists compare Martian landscapes with those on Earth. For example, if we find smooth, rounded stones on Mars, like the ones you see on a riverbank, that means water once flowed there. If we see channels that look like dried-up valleys, they're likely the remnants of ancient rivers. And on Mars, there are thousands of such traces. Modern Mars is a cold and dry desert. Temperatures can drop below -80 degrees Celsius. But in the distant past, Mars was a very different world. Scientists believe that about 3.5 billion years ago, Mars had a thick atmosphere and liquid water. Lakes and rivers once covered its surface, and possibly even a vast ocean in the northern hemisphere. That ocean may have stretched across millions of square kilometers, with depths reaching several kilometers in some places. There was so much water that if it were melted today, it could cover the entire planet with a layer dozens of meters deep. Let's travel back in time in our minds. Before you lies ancient Mars. The air is thick, the sky might be blue, rivers flow all around, the wind whistles, and clouds drift over the horizon. The most famous river system on Mars is the Valles Marineris. It stretches for thousands of kilometers. In places, it can be up to 200 kilometers wide and as deep as 7 kilometers. It's one of the largest canyon systems in the entire solar system. At one time, powerful torrents of water may have rushed down its cliffs and rocky slopes. One of the most remarkable water sites is Jezero crater. Today it's a rocky basin, but in the past, it was a large lake fed by a river. Scientists discovered a delta there, a place where the river branched out, just like the Nile Delta on Earth. It's direct evidence that water didn't just pass through, it stayed there for a long time. For a long time, the idea of an ocean on Mars seemed like science fiction. But everything changed when orbiters discovered a strange feature, an almost perfectly level boundary between the northern and southern hemispheres of the planet. The southern hemisphere is higher in elevation, while the northern part appears to have sunk, much like the contrast between Earth's continents and ocean basins. Scientists have found traces of ancient shorelines, sediment deposits, and even what may be wave patterns frozen in time. Imagine standing on the shore of a long-lost Martian ocean. Waves roll before you, empty plains stretch behind you, and the sun rises slowly into the sky. But if Mars was once so alive, where did it all go? Here's a crucial detail. Mars doesn't have a strong magnetic field. Earth is protected by its magnetosphere, which shields the atmosphere from being stripped away by the solar wind. Mars, however, lost its magnetic field billions of years ago, and no one knows exactly why. After that, the solar wind slowly began to blow the atmosphere away. The pressure dropped, water either evaporated or froze, and the planet gradually became the barren world we see today. Despite losing its atmosphere, Mars still has an astonishingly diverse landscape. For example, it's home to the tallest mountain in the solar system, Olympus Mons. It's 3 times taller than Everest, rising to nearly 23 kilometers. This ancient volcano is so massive that its summit stretches beyond the horizon. There are also vast plains formed by flowing lava. They're so smooth they could serve as landing strips for a spacecraft. And then there are traces of glaciers, not made of water or ice, but of dry ice and dust, yet still eerily similar to those on Earth. If Mars once had water, an atmosphere, and warmth, could life have emerged there? That's one of the most thrilling questions in science today. Rovers are searching for signs of organic molecules, fossilized microbes, or at least chemical conditions that could support life. In New Zero crater, scientists discovered clay on Earth. Such rocks often form in water and can preserve traces of microbial life. No aliens have been found yet, but with every new analysis, we get closer to answering the ultimate question. Were we alone in the solar system? Mars isn't just a lifeless rock floating in space. It's an ancient world with rivers, oceans, mountains, and wines. A world that once breathed, roared, and mirrored clouds in its waters. Today, it is silent, but perhaps beneath its dusty surface, life still lingers in hiding. And one day, when we finally set foot on that crimson soil, we may uncover not just the traces of a forgotten past, but the keys to our future. Because in exploring Mars, we don't just learn about another planet, we learn about ourselves. Want more stories like this from the cosmos? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Our next journey is coming very soon.